He was the white moonlight in my wife's heart. He had already passed away, and because of that, she had hated me for 10 whole years. I tried my best to do everything right, but all I ever received from her was cold indifference. "If you really want to make me happy," she once said, "then just go to sleep and never wake up." Those words stabbed straight into my heart. Yet when the truck came rushing toward us, she still threw herself forward without hesitation and pushed me away. She fell in a pool of blood. Before her final breath faded, she looked at me deeply and said, "If only I had never met you, that would have been better." At the funeral, my mother-in-law was in unbearable pain. At the beginning, I never should have let Tacton decide on his own. Thoi Hao should never have been forced to marry you. My father-in-law looked at me with pure hatred. Niu Yen saved you 3 times. She was such a good person. Why wasn't it you who died instead? Everyone regretted it. They regretted that Niu Yen had married me, including myself. I stood there in a daze and was driven out of the funeral. 3 years later, a time machine appeared. I went back to the past. This time, I chose to cut off all ties with Niu Yen and fulfill the wishes of everyone. A blinding light exploded from the time machine. I closed my eyes tightly. But suddenly, a familiar mocking voice rang in my ears, Niu Yen's voice. "My parents used the excuse of dying to force me to marry you. Luke Suyen. You really are capable. But even if we do get married, what do you think you'll gain? Do you really think we'll be happy?" I opened my eyes. Niu Yen stood right in front of me, alive and breathing. She was wearing a simple, elegant long dress. Her hair was tied into a high ponytail, full of vitality. The mockery in her eyes was impossible to hide. The Niu Yen of the future was cold, mature, and distant. But the Niu Yen before me was still young, radiant, and carried a hint of playful sharpness. The moment I saw her, my nose burned with pain. The time machine had truly sent me back. Unfortunately, something had gone wrong. It didn't take me back to after everything ended. Instead, it sent me back 10 years earlier, to the day when Niu Yen and I were about to get married. Fortunately, there was still time to change everything. I suppressed the bitterness in my chest and stared at her greedily. "Niu Yen, the reason you don't want to marry me is because the person you truly want to marry is Thoi Hao. Right?" I don't know if I touched the deepest part of her heart, but her body stiffened slightly. Then she looked at me coldly. "So what? We're already standing in front of the Civil Affairs office. Are you saying you want to regret it now?" I nodded calmly. "Yes." Niu Yen let out a cold laugh. "I don't have time to play emotional games with you. Sign the papers, get the marriage certificate, and then leave. I'll wait for you outside." Watching her walk away, my heart felt as if it were being crushed. Whether in my previous life or this one, I had loved Niu Yen for many years. She had risked her life for me twice, no, 3 times. I once foolishly believed that she might secretly like me too. Her parents had even said to me, "Niu Yen is cold on the outside but warm on the inside. If she didn't love you, why would she risk her life twice to save you?" I believed them. I happily prepared to marry her. But only after the white moonlight in her heart, him, passed away did I finally understand the truth. The person she loved was never me. Her last words, "If only I had never met you," completely shattered me. My 10 years of love were exchanged for 10 years of her suffering. Before activating the time machine, an elderly monk once told me, "I can only sever your karmic bond with Niu Yen if you fulfill her 3 deepest regrets. Only then will she not lose her life because of you at the age of 30. After that, both of you will be able to walk your own smooth paths." I lowered my head and filled in Thoi Hao's name on the marriage registration form. I remembered very clearly the 3 regrets Niu Yen had written in her diary. Regretting marrying Luke Suyen. Regretting not resisting her parents' arrangements. Regretting not being able to save Thoi Hao. Now, At least the first regret had been fulfilled. I walked out holding the 2 marriage certificates. Niu Yen stood by the door, waiting for me. She instinctively reached out to grab the certificates from my hands, but I tightened my grip and stopped her. I smiled gently at her. Niu Yen, look at them tomorrow. It'll be a surprise. She frowned. You're acting strange today. Did marrying me make you so happy that you've lost your mind? Yes, I said with a smile. It really is worth celebrating. Because I was finally able to see her alive again. I think you're the most wonderful person in the world. Whoever marries you will surely be very happy. She snorted softly and turned away. If I didn't know you don't like me, I might have thought you were embarrassed. Nearby, a young couple was chatting happily. There's a rare meteor shower tonight, once in 100 years. They say if a married couple watches it together, they'll stay together for life. Then let's go see it too. My steps slowed. I remembered this night from my previous life. Back then, I still held on to foolish hope that she would love me. I begged her to watch the meteor shower together. In return, I only received her cold, mocking voice. Just because a couple watches a meteor shower together, they'll last forever? By your logic, if the whole world watches it, wouldn't everyone get what they want? What kind of fantasy are you living in? This time, I no longer held on to hope. But Niu Yen suddenly spoke. You want to see the meteor shower? I can go with you. But don't expect any honeymoon. Work is busy, I don't have time. I looked at her in surprise. I hadn't expected her to bring it up herself. But soon, I accepted it calmly. Her words were sharp, but Niu Yen had always had a kind heart. Otherwise, she would never have risked her life to save me 3 times. The first time was when we were 18. I was robbed in a narrow alley. To save me, she was slashed on her right arm. Her nerves were severely damaged. From that day on, she could no longer play the piano. Her dream of becoming a pianist was completely shattered. The second time was during an earthquake. We were trapped under the rubble. She tricked me into consuming all the remaining food and water, leaving herself nothing. If the rescue team hadn't arrived in time, she might not have survived. The third time was when the truck came rushing toward us. She wrapped her arms tightly around me. Shattered glass struck the back of her head. She shielded me completely. I suffered only minor injuries. 3 times she used her life to protect mine. How could I not love her? But Niu Yen didn't wait for my answer. She seemed impatient. Are you going or not? To watch the meteor shower. I came back to my senses and smiled at her. Yes, tonight, we'll go together. Only then did her expression soften. She waved down a taxi. Let's go home first. Later that night, we arrived at the observatory right on time. Then she received a phone call. Her expression darkened instantly. Thoi Hao injured his hand. I'm going to see him. You go home by yourself. I nodded. She seemed a little surprised. In the past, you were always unhappy whenever I went to see him. Why have you suddenly changed? I opened my mouth, about to speak, but she let out a cold laugh first. Well, I guess that makes sense. After all, we're already married. He can't threaten you anymore. When you get home, send me a message. With that, she got into the car and left. She never noticed the sense of loss in my eyes, nor the bitter smile on my lips. In truth, I had never tried to stop the special feelings she had for Thoi Hao. It was only because, in the past, I had once accidentally run into Thoi Hao together with her parents, and we saw him kissing a middle-aged woman. After investigating, I learned that he had long been financially supported by several wealthy older women. That was why I tried so hard to stop Niu Yen from continuing to see him. But she never knew any of this. After Thoi Hao passed away, she suffered for 10 long years. If I had to choose, I would rather see her together with Thoi Hao than watch her be tortured by guilt and pain, only to eventually lose her life because of me. Self-blame and regret are enough to crush a person completely. I let out a long sigh. First, I went to the school to collect my guaranteed admission offer. Only then did I return home. Niu Yen's parents had prepared a lavish meal and were waiting for me. Mother Niu happily grabbed my hand. Luke Suyen, you're back so early. You've already gotten the marriage certificate, right? Why didn't Niu Yen come back with you? I smiled. She had work to take care of, so she went to the company first. Mother Niu frowned slightly. That girl, today is such an important day, and she still won't put work aside. Father Niu chuckled. Being focused on her career is a good thing. Anyway, they're already married. A family meal can happen anytime. Mother Niu muttered unhappily under her breath. Looking at the warm family scene before me, my nose stung. I took a deep breath and spoke slowly. Uncle, Auntie, Niu Yen and I didn't register our marriage. I've already completed the procedures to study abroad. In 2 days, I'll be leaving the country. The atmosphere froze instantly. Mother Niu was stunned. You two didn't get married? Did Niu Yen bully you again? That child is stubborn on the outside, but she cares deeply inside. She really likes you. She held my hand tightly, her voice full of sincerity. In the past, you studied psychology day and night just to stay by her side and help her through her difficulties. We've all seen your sincerity. You two love each other. Of course you should be together. And besides, you know that boy isn't a good person. We absolutely can't let him get what he wants. Father Niu nodded in agreement. Niu Yen is just stubborn. If you persist, sooner or later she'll soften. These words sounded painfully familiar. In the past, they had said the exact same things. Unfortunately, that forced union only led to an ending that everyone regretted. I held Mother Niu's hand and spoke gently. Please don't get upset, let me finish. Even if I don't want to admit it, the truth is, a bitter fruit can never taste sweet. Niu Yen has never truly liked me. Last night, I had a dream. In that dream, Niu Yen and I got married, but she never accepted me. She buried herself in work every day, exhausting herself to the point of collapse. I cooked porridge for her, but she refused to drink it. When she was sick, she wouldn't let me take care of her. She said the pain I brought her was greater than the happiness I could ever give. And at 30, because she was saving me, she died under the wheels of a truck. At this point, my heart hurt so badly I could barely breathe. Mother Niu froze, yet still tried to comfort me. But that was just a dream. Luke Suyen, Niu Yen wouldn't be like that. I took a deep breath and forced a smile. Auntie, if I could choose again, I hope she wouldn't marry me. We don't have to be husband and wife. I just want her to live a long, peaceful life. And this isn't without reason. I paused, looked at them deeply, and continued. Niu Yen loves music, but she had to give it up to enter the business world. She hates being forced onto paths she didn't choose. If she hadn't injured her hand back then, she wouldn't have ended up on this road. And just like now, if it weren't for your arrangements, she wouldn't marry me. It all started because of me. It's all my fault. I don't want this mistake to continue any longer. I inhaled deeply and smiled faintly. I've already booked my flight. But your kindness to me, I will always remember it. In the future, I will definitely honor and respect you both. Mother Niu silently wiped away her tears. Her voice trembled. You're a good child? It's just a pity Niu Yen doesn't have the fortune to marry you. I hugged them, my eyes also turning red, but my voice still carried a smile. It's okay. If I can't be your son-in-law, I can still be your son. In the future, I'll still take care of you. Only then did Niu Yen's parents finally let go of their insistence and accept my decision. I thought of the second wish written in Niu Yen's diary. Perhaps it had already been fulfilled. The time machine only gave me 36 hours in this world. Now, I had only one final wish left to complete. Could I really do it? As night fell, I went alone to the observatory. This was the best place to watch a meteor shower. I leaned against the railing, a faint sense of anticipation lingering in my heart. I didn't know how long I waited. Suddenly, the door behind me creaked open. I turned around in joy, my eyes filled with hope. Niu Yen, you came. But her expression was extremely dark. In just a few steps, she stood before me, her eyes burning with anger. Luke Suyen, just because I didn't take you home and went to see Thoi Hao, you ran to complain to my parents? Do you know what happened because of this? When they called and scolded him, Thoi Hao got distracted while crossing the street. He was in a traffic accident. He's losing a massive amount of blood and might not make it. Are you satisfied now? I froze. In my previous life, Thoi Hao had also been in an accident due to severe blood loss. Because the blood bank was short on supply, he couldn't be saved in time and eventually died. After that, Niu Yen hated me more than ever. But back then, this happened a month after the wedding. Why did it happen so early this time? I had been wondering how to fulfill Niu Yen's third wish. I never expected the opportunity to come on its own. I looked straight at her. So, you came to find me because you want me to donate blood for him, right? Hearing this, Niu Yen was momentarily stunned. Then she laughed coldly, full of anger. You think I wouldn't? This was something you owed him in the first place. She grabbed my wrist and dragged me straight to the hospital. When we arrived, I immediately donated 400 cc of blood. It felt as though all my strength had been drained. My entire body went limp. But the doctor frowned, his tone anxious. This isn't enough. The blood matching process still needs at least 10 more minutes. We don't know if the patient can hold on that long. I looked toward Niu Yen. She was completely focused on Thoi Hao lying on the hospital bed. His pale face was clearly reflected in her eyes. That was a look of pain and distress she had never once shown me. The nurse moved to remove the IV needle from my arm. I gently stopped her and smiled faintly. Please, take another 400 cc. The nurse panicked and hurriedly tried to stop me. That's not allowed. Each donation can only be up to 400 cc. But I still smiled. It's okay, I said softly. I'll be fine after resting a bit. Saving a life is more important. The doctor rushed out of the emergency room and shouted urgently. The blood supply is still insufficient. Quickly coordinate more blood. The patient won't last much longer. I urged the nurse. The nurse looked at me with gratitude. You're truly a good person. When the patient wakes up, he'll be deeply grateful to you. Niu Yen parted her lips, as if she wanted to say something. But she hesitated. In the end, she only said quietly, Luke Suyen, I'll make it up to you. The needle pierced my vein. I smiled gently at her. It's okay, I'm doing this willingly. He once risked his life for me. Now, I'm just protecting the person he loves most. What could be more important than that? But I had underestimated the consequences of excessive blood donation. A wave of dizziness hit me. My vision went dark. I lost my balance and collapsed. When I opened my eyes again, I realized I was lying in a hospital bed. The injection site had been carefully bandaged. Niu Yen wasn't there. Everyone around me was busy coming and going. No one noticed that I had woken up. I raised my head and looked at the wall clock. Only 1 hour remained before I had to return to the past. On the small TV in the hospital room, they were replaying footage of the rare once-in-a-century meteor shower. The meteors were beautiful. It was just a pity that I had missed it again. Just as I thought, my wish would never be complete. I stared blankly at the screen until footsteps sounded beside me. Then Niu Yen's voice rang out, tired, yet relieved. You're awake. Thoi Hao has woken up too. Luckily, you donated blood in time yesterday. I turned to look at her. Is that so? That's good. Seeing my pale face, she froze. then said awkwardly. Thank you, you've worked hard. After a pause, she lowered her voice again. What I said last night was too much. But still, you shouldn't have told my parents about me and him. You shouldn't interfere. Hearing this, my heart felt as if it were being crushed. She always misunderstood me. If this were 10 years ago, I would have rushed to explain. But now, we were destined to part. In the future, our paths would never cross again. Whether it was a misunderstanding or not no longer mattered. The room fell silent. Suddenly, Niu Yen spoke again. Yesterday, I said I would go watch the meteor shower with you. But I didn't make it. She looked at me, seeming a little apologetic. You said before that you wanted to go to Italy, didn't you? In a few days, I'll go there with you for a trip. I was momentarily stunned. I didn't expect that she still remembered this. I was surprised for a brief moment, then shook my head and refused. No need, Niu Yen. Rarely did she not argue with me. She took out her phone and immediately booked plane tickets for 5 days later. You can be mad at me if you want, but I've already booked the tickets. After you recover, we'll go and enjoy our honeymoon. I looked at her and said softly. There's really no need, Niu Yen. She looked at me with suspicion. I gave a faint smile. There's no need to be stubborn anymore. And there's no need to feel guilty toward me. I owe you far too much. How could you possibly need to make it up to me? The moment I said this, it felt as if I were also reminding myself. But Niu Yen was unhappy and immediately interrupted me. What are you talking about? I didn't answer. The atmosphere fell silent again. Niu Yen turned around, poured a cup of hot water, and handed it to me. I noticed her hand trembling slightly. It was probably because of the rain, her old injury must have been acting up again. Painful memories and heartache surged through me at once. I asked softly. Because of saving me, you ended up like this. Do you regret it? Niu Yen lowered her head and placed the cup in front of me. Her long hair fell, hiding the expression on her face. She said quietly. No regrets. Whether it was you or someone else, I would have saved them. The same goes for the earthquake back then. I saw her fingers stiffen slightly, but she still answered calmly. No matter who it was, I would have saved them. So that was it. She truly was a kind person, someone who would never turn away from others in need. I smiled faintly, but my eyes were filled with an unending pain. Niu Yen, thank you. You really are a very good person. I paused, then continued softly. In the past, I didn't understand this. I kept clinging to you and refused to let go. You must have suffered a lot because of me. A kind person like her had been tormented by me for 10 years. In the end, she even lost her life because of me. I was her calamity. I gently closed my eyes, and silent tears slid down. A rare trace of panic flashed through Niu Yen's eyes. What nonsense are you talking about? At that moment, a secretary hurried over, speaking urgently. President Liu, Mr. Thoi has regained consciousness. Niu Yen's expression lit up instantly. She quickly turned to leave. Before she could go, I gently called her name. She turned back. I looked straight at her, the corners of my lips curving into a warm smile, bright like sunlight. I'm sorry, Niu Yen. I wish you peace, happiness, and that everything goes smoothly for you from now on. Niu Yen sensed something strange in my words. Her brows furrowed. Why are you talking like you're saying goodbye? I'm just going to see Thoi Hao for a bit. If there's anything, we can talk when I come back. After saying that, she left quickly. At this point, I had less than half an hour left before I had to return to the past. I gently pulled out the IV needle, stood up, and left the hospital. After visiting Thoi Hao, Niu Yen carried a large bag filled with nourishing soup and returned to my hospital room. But when she stepped into the empty room, she called my name several times. No one answered. An indescribable sense of unease rose in her heart. She instinctively took out her phone to call me. At that moment, the secretary rushed in from outside, breathing heavily. President Liu, something terrible has happened. 10 minutes ago, Mr. Luke was in a traffic accident and lost a large amount of blood. Unfortunately, the hospital's blood bank was critically low at the time. He didn't make it. The thermos in Niu Yen's hand fell to the ground. Hot soup splashed everywhere. Immediately after came her horrified, furious scream. "What did you say?" It felt as if a heavy blow had struck her heart, leaving her in so much pain that she couldn't breathe. She forced herself to stay calm and rushed toward the door. But her legs suddenly went weak, and she nearly collapsed. The assistant quickly caught her. "Where is he? Take me to him immediately." The assistant led Niu Yen to the ward. She rushed forward and shoved the door open. "Wait, Miss Liu, you can't go in right now." Several nurses tried to stop her, but she pushed them aside. Trembling, she walked to the bedside and stiffly lifted the white sheet covering the person's face. The moment she saw the face clearly, she froze. This wasn't Luke Suyen. A nurse flushed and quickly explained. "This patient just happens to have the same name as Mr. Luke. He came to the hospital today to donate blood as well." News of Mr. Thoi's accident spread quickly in the area, so many people came to volunteer. It's not uncommon for someone to have the same name. Niu Yen stood there blankly for a moment. Then she gently pulled the white sheet back over the face. "I'm sorry, I was too emotional and caused trouble for everyone." After being escorted out of the ward, the assistant wiped sweat from his forehead in embarrassment. "I'm really sorry, President Liu. I was too anxious and reported it before confirming." Niu Yen took a deep breath and forced herself to calm down. "It's fine, just make sure to verify things properly next time." After saying that, she quietly clenched her hand, wiping away the cold sweat that had soaked her palm. Thankfully, it was just a misunderstanding. The assistant quickly added, "I've already checked. Mr. Luke just went home." Niu Yen nodded slightly and said nothing more. She turned and hurried toward my home. The moment she stepped inside, she saw the worried expressions on my parents' faces. Her heart sank. My mother's voice trembled, on the verge of tears. "I don't know what happened. Luke Suyen came home and collapsed onto the bed. He hasn't woken up no matter how we call him." A loud explosion seemed to go off in Niu Yen's mind. She immediately thought it might be due to excessive blood donation causing a coma. There was no time to explain to my parents. She rushed straight into my bedroom. Standing by the bed, she saw me lying there, pale and motionless. An indescribable fear surged up inside her. She recalled everything I had said before losing consciousness, words that sounded like a farewell, yet also like confessions. The tangled emotions overwhelmed her heart. In truth, she had never truly hated me. She had only resented the path her parents had arranged for her, and this forced marriage. But now, she finally understood. She didn't want to keep hurting me because of those meaningless acts of resistance. Niu Yen silently looked at my pale face and made a decision deep in her heart. This time, when I woke up, she would personally apologize. When she left the room, my mother had already wiped away her tears. My father coughed lightly and asked, "I heard Thoi Hao was in an accident. How is he now?" As soon as Niu Yen heard this, her expression darkened. Her voice carried a hint of anger. Luke Suyen went to tell my parents. They called and scolded him. That's why Thoi Hao got distracted while crossing the street and had an accident. Hearing this, my mother let out a cold laugh. That scoundrel really has some nerve. I knew he had bad intentions. I never thought he'd dare to pull such dirty tricks. She snorted and opened her phone, playing a recording. In the recording, Thoi Hao's voice sounded calculating and scheming. "Do you think forcing Niu Yen to marry Luke Suyen will make her love him sincerely? I just need to make up a few lies, and she'll immediately run to me. She trusts me unconditionally. In her heart, there's only me. Even if I toy with her for the rest of her life, she'll still be willing. But she's just a backup. Instead of loving one person, I prefer the excitement of many. In the recording, Thoi Hao laughed contemptuously. The recording ended. Niu Yen stood frozen, as if all her strength had been drained away. Everything she had believed in turned out to be nothing more than a cruel joke. My mother gently patted her head, her voice filled with pity and sincerity. I don't know what he gave you, but that man is full of schemes. He acts one way in front of people and another behind their backs. This is his true face. Luke Suyen is a good young man. Even after learning Thoi Hao's true nature, he never once spoke badly about him. Even though he was hurt by both you and that man, he never told us. Luke Suyen has never harmed you. On the contrary, he's always protected you quietly. I feel regretful that you two didn't get married. But now Luke Suyen is about to go abroad to study. We should respect his decision. With every word my mother spoke, Niu Yen's face grew paler. At the last sentence, she immediately caught the key point. Study abroad? Study abroad for what? My mother looked surprised. You didn't know? Luke Suyen is going overseas to study. He said he didn't want to delay your life, so he cancelled the engagement. That's impossible. Niu Yen murmured. We clearly got the marriage certificate. Suddenly, my words from yesterday echoed in her mind. Look at it tomorrow, there'll be a surprise. Her hands trembled as she took out the marriage certificate and opened it. On the first page, the man's name wasn't Luke Suyen. It was Thoi Hao. Niu Yen's hands shook violently. Her eyes were filled with disbelief. How could this be? How could it be him? Tears fell, splashing onto the bright red official seal on the marriage certificate. It felt as if a piece of her heart had been carved out, the pain making it hard to breathe. Angrily, she threw the certificate into the trash. Then she immediately turned and hurried into my room. She knelt down beside the bed, gently holding my ice-cold hand. Her tears could no longer be restrained, drop by drop. They fell onto the back of my hand. So it turned out that I had been deceived for so many years. In the end, the only person who had ever treated me sincerely was you. She lowered her head. Pain and regret seemed to swallow her whole. Only at this moment did she truly understand her own heart. From beginning to end, the one she loved had always been me. She lightly bit her lip, forcing herself to suppress the emotions surging inside her. After a while, she carefully pulled the blanket up over me. Her eyes were red, her voice as gentle as a spring breeze. Lu Zan, wait for you to wake up. I want to tell you myself. From now on, I will stay by your side forever. From the moment I left the hospital, I felt an invisible unease growing in my heart. As if something were urgently urging me to return home at once. Finally, when I stepped into my room, the tension that had gripped me all day completely collapsed. I could no longer hold myself up. My body fell onto the bed, and I slipped into a coma. I knew the time of the time machine had ended. When I opened my eyes again, I instinctively braced myself against the wall, pressing my fingers against my throbbing temple. A flood of powerful memories surged into my mind. 10 years ago, after I had been unconscious for an entire day and night, when I finally woke up, Ru Yan suddenly confessed her deep feelings to me. But by then, after loving her hopelessly for so many years, my heart had already gone cold. I firmly rejected her confession and left alone to study abroad. For the next 10 years, I devoted myself entirely to my studies and career. Everything went smoothly, as if carried along by a steady current. After graduating, I returned home and became a professor at a prestigious university. As for Ru Yan, the very next day after discovering something wrong with the marriage certificate, she immediately went to the Civil Affairs Bureau to complete the divorce procedures. That surprised me. Fortunately, her actions did not affect my future. I secretly let out a sigh of relief. Over the past 10 years, Ru Yan no longer confronted me the way she once did. The stomach illness I had suffered in the previous timeline was also avoided this time. Compared to before, she had lost some of her impulsiveness, replaced by the calm presence of a mature older sister. And for 10 years, she had quietly stayed by my side. I slowly organized the memories in my mind, when suddenly a hand gently tapped my shoulder. "Professor Liu, your phone has been ringing for a while. Do you want me to help you answer it?" A student spoke as he handed me the phone. Only then did I come back to myself. On the screen was my mother's name. I immediately answered the call. "Liu Zhan, today is Ru Yan's 30th birthday. Come home and have dinner with us." Hearing the words 30 years old, I instinctively tensed for a moment. But very quickly, I realized that fate had already been resolved. I silently let out a breath of relief and smiled. "Of course, I'll be right there." That evening, when I returned home, Ru Yan's parents had prepared a lavish dinner. Her mother, as usual, wiped her hands on her apron and pulled me into a tight hug. "Liu Zhan, welcome home." Seeing the warm scene before me, my nose suddenly stung. This time, her parents no longer resented me because of Ru Yan's death. Everything felt just like before. Seeing my reddened eyes, her mother couldn't help laughing. "You child, you haven't been home in so long. Are you so moved that you're about to cry?" She laughed as she gently patted my shoulder in comfort. I could feel the tension that had bound me for so many years finally easing. While chatting with her parents, I learned the truth behind Shi Hao's accident. At the time, he really had been framed by someone else. The person behind it was his ex-girlfriend. It was said that Shi Hao had once clung to a wealthy older woman. After being deceived by him, she grew resentful and sought revenge. She deliberately arranged a traffic accident, leaving him severely injured. Ru Yan's mother snorted coldly. Evil brings its own punishment. Even if he survived that accident, his life is a mess now. She lowered her voice. I heard that recently he became someone's kept man, was discovered by the wife, and got beaten badly. Now when he goes outside, people point and whisper. No one cares about him anymore. I sighed softly, unsure how I should feel. Ru Yan's father nodded slowly. Cause and effect. Good and evil both have consequences. At that moment, the doorbell rang. I went to open the door and met Ru Yan's gaze. She smiled gently. "It's been a long time, Liu Zhan." Looking at her, a memory suddenly surfaced in my mind. A week earlier, my university had announced a new policy. The most outstanding professors would be selected to join a top-tier research institute. As the youngest promising professor, I was naturally on the candidate list. But at the last moment, a new regulation was issued. Due to age restrictions, I was removed from the list. I casually mentioned it to Ru Yan during a conversation. I didn't expect her to remember it. When the final list was announced, my name appeared again. That day, I met her at a cafe. I asked her directly, "Was this your doing? What did you do?" She replied calmly, "I just transferred a small portion of shares. It won't affect anything." Then she smiled gently. "You deserve it." I laughed in anger. "Won't affect anything? You did this without the board's approval, didn't you?" She responded indifferently. "That's not important. As long as you're happy." She looked at me, her voice soft. "Because you're the most important person to me." The most important person? I fell silent. She blushed slightly under my gaze and coughed softly. 2 days ago, I saw you like a photo of a race car. I've prepared a surprise for you tonight." She paused. "I'll take you there." I gently interrupted her. Ru Yan. Seeing my troubled expression, she hurriedly explained. You don't like race cars? I'm sorry. I'll change it. Fireworks? The beach? She looked nervous, afraid I would refuse. That careful, eager to please expression was exactly like me back then. I sighed softly. You don't need to do so much for me. I looked at her deeply. We will never become lovers. Not now, not in the future. Her eyes darkened. She lowered her head. Before, you loved me so much. And I didn't cherish it. But I still can't accept it. Why? You loved me so deeply? How could you suddenly stop? She looked at me, trembling. Lu Zan, look at me and tell me. Is there really nothing left in your heart for me? She grabbed my shoulders desperately. Not even a little? I slowly closed my eyes. How could there be nothing left? But the remaining feelings were no longer enough to give me the courage to walk through life with her. My once passionate, sincere love had been worn away by 10 years of pain. I spoke softly. I'm sorry. We really don't have a chance anymore. Her hand loosened. But she quickly forced a smile. It's okay. Being your older sister is still a kind of happiness. Her mother's voice pulled me back to the present. 4 of us sat around the table. I looked at Ru Yan. At 30, she was different from her past self. Still composed and mature, but far gentler than before. I felt both emotional and relieved. It was good. She was alive. Everything had changed. Ru Yan's father raised his glass and smiled. Lu Zan, say a few words for Ru Yan's birthday. I lifted my glass and smiled sincerely. I wish you peace and happiness from now on. May everything go smoothly. May all your wishes come true. Ru Yan froze briefly, then smiled. She clinked glasses with me. You too, Lu Zan. I'll be a good older sister. And stay by your side forever. The wine was warm as it slid down my throat. In that very moment, I finally let go of the love that had lasted more than 10 years. This meal was filled with joy. The 3 greatest burdens in my heart had passed. From now on, there was nothing left to hold me back. The future would surely be calm and smooth. That's the end of today's story. If you enjoyed it, please like the video, subscribe to China Story Tales, and stay tuned for more stories.